Hey, welcome back to the channel. Pew pew. Say we are going to be talking about styrofoam. So yeah, and obviously the title of the video, I do not have friends that are styrofoam. You know, like I collect toys, I must have thousands of friends. So anyways, today, yeah, we're going to talk about styrofoam, some of the mistakes I made when I started out. You know, a lot of this diorama building is like part of the fun is just diving into it and figuring out what works for you, you know, picking up those tips online. But, you know, I watch lots of tip videos and stuff too, and it definitely helped. Like, you know, like this video, you're going to get a few tips and stuff like that, things I learned right off the hop. And so some of the tools you may need for your styrofoam adventure. I find wire cutter works really good, those electric ones. You can get those on Amazon, or there's even tutorials how to make them out of like batteries and pencils and stuff. I don't know. But also a nice sharp serrated knife I found, just any kitchen knife. You know, stuff like that. Chisels work really good for digging in and like snapping pieces off, making it look like kind of a really kind of craggy rock face or something like that. Heat gun, if you want to like melt it, just, you know, safety first. I'm going to trust that everybody out there has a brain in their head and can do this safely. All right. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into her. So if we're talking styrofoam, I will start with some of the mistakes I made to start off with. So this is kind of a little cliff I made. I think I made this thing like probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I wasn't too familiar with foam and using foam in my dioramas at the time, but one of the major things I found out is that spray paint will fuck your styrofoam right up. But on the other hand, it actually does work sometime. It makes, if you can control it, you get like a kind of a nice like rocky sort of pitted look. This diorama's getting old, some of the paint's wearing off it and stuff like that, but yeah, that's pretty much one of my first attempts. And then I just took it and cut it all in different layers and made this kind of like layered sort of slabby cliff sort of thing. And then this is what I did a little bit later on. As you can see, I've got like quite a bit more detail. And I actually find if you're getting spray paint for this stuff, I think it's like trim clad or Rust-Oleum or any rust paint, if you're actually like kind of careful with it, it actually coats really nicely. But like I said, like if you can control the spray paint, sometimes you can get like a little kind of pitted look. Also take like a wooden stick or something like that and just like you can poke it or put little scratches in it, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, you just got to be careful with spray paint on styrofoam. But like I said, you can get like kind of a cool little effect there. And then I find the best thing, if you want to do that slabby style, I've made like quite a few sets of staircases, and they actually turn out like really cool looking. Like maybe they were like, maybe it's not a natural formation, maybe it's a ancient temple staircase or something that's crumbling away to nothing. So yeah, here's another earlier one I did, and I'm starting to use like literally rocks from outside, but that's the only thing I find with spray paint, especially the way I do my dios, if because I like to move things around and I don't really like sit down and, you know, draw it out. Like that's pretty gnarly there. I probably won't leave that like that because that's totally gonna just like fall down at some point. But yeah, so that's my experience with styrofoam. And it's just you can actually drive by any job sites or anything like that, and they quite often have like the 1 inch or 2 inch foam left over from you know, jobs and stuff, and they'll just throw it out at the end of the day. So here's an example of like stuff you get, like, you know, if you buy a new bread maker or an air conditioner or something like that. This is all pre-formed styrofoam. I don't even remember what appliance or whatever came in these. But as you can see, like, they've just got, if you use a bit of imagination, you get, that's got a pretty cool design. Like, that could be like, you know, like a battle arena, you know, or you flip it on its side and it kind of looks like, you know, like a space wall, or, you know, anything. Like, the limit is your imagination, really, with this stuff. So I like to use a lot of this stuff in, like, if you're doing like a, you know, a setup where it's supposed to be something like Coruscant, or say, you know, like Cybertron, or one of those planets, like you want a little more slicker look, then I find this stuff works really good. So here's an example of using some pre-formed styrofoam that I just kind of spray painted. I think I hit it with silver, then a bit of gray, and then I always like to do just like a light dusting of black to kind of maybe look like it was like laser scored, or, you know, just aged, right? But as you can see, for this transformer setup, it is, I actually like it a lot. It does remind me of maybe some of the post-war kind of scenery in Cybertron. Obviously not the golden age by any means, but yeah, that's like an example of like how you can just take, and I didn't cut these, I didn't do anything to these, I just painted them and kind of stuck them in a way that they would actually work out all right. And I think they turned out pretty cool. Another example of preformed styrofoam is like stuff like this. Like this Motu setup, I'm moving stuff around and starting to see what's gonna work. I actually had to build like a gigantic mountain that kind of goes all the way up to the top and back down and have like a big battle going on. But I will definitely make a video on that if I decide to go that way. But these are like, you know, just those cheapy dollar store or Halloween things that come out. I haven't painted them, I haven't done anything with them. They actually came with a half decent paint job on them already, so I was actually quite astonished. But that's like an example, like, just, you know, when you're at the dollar store, like Value Village, like the usual suspects, just when you're out there, man, just turn on the old imagination brain and just see what springs into your mind when you see stuff like this. So I find it depends what kind of scenery you're doing. Like, this is meant to be kind of a, you know, sort of Tatooine, maybe deserty, rocky kind of planet sort of buildings. Like these domes, for some reason the dollar store in my town anyway sells these balls of foam for whatever reason. I don't know what you would actually use them for, maybe sticking flowers in or something. But anyways, yeah, so you get that, and they had these preformed things, so I just scuffed them up a bit and mixed up kind of a sandy color of paint, put that on, and I actually did like the lighter yellow at the end to maybe kind of look like it, you know, a little bit of sand buildup or something on these otherwise like older buildings. That is the top off of one of those battle droids from episode 1, those whatever, those scooter things they stood on. Yeah, archways and stuff. But there's a lot of different tools you can use too, as I covered earlier. But yeah, I find if you're doing like, yeah, the rougher edges the better if you're doing some kind of terrain like that. Like I said, if you are wanting to do like a, you know, like a Coruscant kind of setup, then you're going to want them a lot straighter lines, obviously. But that's part of the fun of doing this, right? You can experiment with these shapes and stuff and come up with your own ideas. A lot of this diorama building is, you know, you actually have to do it. You can watch tons of videos like this one, but until you actually start getting your hands dirty and kind of get into it, it's like, you know, awesome learning experience, or at least I had a lot of fun with it. And there's still stuff I'm learning, like. All right, so yeah, thanks for tuning in. I got more videos coming up. I've got room tours, I've got more dio vids coming up. Yeah, so thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you kicking around.